Hi, this is Bill. Today I want to talk to you about keyboard shortcuts, and more specifically, keyboard shortcuts that you can use inside of browsers. Now, keyboard shortcuts, basically what that means is they are keyboard commands where you usually hit two different keys and they will do something inside your browser automatically. What this does is it saves you from finding your mouse and kind of fumbling around with your mouse finding the cursor in order to do a command. And they can really save you a lot of time, and time is something that we can all use more of. So in this case, I'm going to be using Google Chrome. Now, these keyboard shortcuts that I'm about to show you can be used in any browser that's out there, any modern browser. It doesn't matter if you use Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer, these keyboard shortcuts are pretty much standard across all of those different types of software. So the first one that I want to show you today is simply how to open up a new tab inside of Google Chrome. Now, when you do a keyboard shortcuts, and that's any of these keyboard shortcuts, it's not magic. You don't have to time your hit of the two different keys exactly. You can hold down one and then tap the other one. So in this case, to open up a new tab inside of a browser, I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit T. And that's going to open up a new tab for me. And you can see that right up in the URL bar, it has my cursor is there. I'm ready to type in my URL or my search. So with that Control T, I held down Control and then tap T. You don't have to try to time it so you hit them together. So that's just one thing to kind of remember. So I have a new tab up here. That just Control T created a new tab for me. Now let's suppose that I'm in class and I'm working and I'm showing kids different websites that I want to go to, and I accidentally click off of one of these tabs and I click the X accidentally. Okay? One of the easiest ways to get that back is to hold down Control, hold down Shift, and then hit the T key. And that's going to bring, in this case, my Google site right back up. And it gives me the ability to pull that up immediately without having to retype in the URL or go to my bookmarks or whatever. So Control-Shift-T will open up the most recently closed browser. And you can do that a couple different times. So I just did that another time, and here's my Twitter page. And so you can use that in a number of different ways. One of the ways that you can use this is if you are walking around your room and the students are on the computer and you see them quickly close a browser window thinking that you won't notice. One of the things that you can do is come over, Control-Shift-T, and it will bring up exactly where they were before, and then you can have the conversation about why they thought that they needed to close that browser window very quickly because they were off task or whatever. So that's just another little tip. The next keyboard shortcut that I want to show you is the history shortcut. So if I hold down Control and hit H, this is going to bring up my browsing history for this particular browser. Now, as you can see, it goes back a number of different days, and you can see my browsing history. But what this does is let's suppose that you know that you were on a website yesterday, and you just can't remember what that website was, but it had some really good information. You can go into your browsing history, and truly, you can search the history inside of Google Chrome. With Internet Explorer and Firefox, it typically opens up a window, a sidebar over here on the right-hand side. But you can actually search that history for keywords that you happen to remember from that page that you were on. So that's another way to manage your history and manage your browsing and be able to find that information as you need it. Now, the next keyboard shortcut that I want to show you is how to bookmark a page. Now in this case, I'm on the Parkway Northeast Middle School page, and if I hold down Control and hit D, it automatically adds that bookmark to my bookmark list. Okay, now this will work in any of the browsers. Each of them handle it a little bit different way, but this bookmark has now been added to my browser. Now, one of my favorite keyboard shortcuts is actually Control K. Now I don't usually remember this, but if you hold down Control and you hit K, what that does is it immediately puts your cursor up in your search area. So this is how to do a quick search without taking your hands off the keyboard. So Ctrl K, and then I can do a search for, in this case, I'm going to do a search for professional learning communities, and it's going to do, for me, a Google search. Now, it's going to depend on what you have as your main search engine and what browser you use, but Ctrl K automatically goes to wherever you do your search in that browser. So it's a really fast way to go through and find that information that you need based on your search. The last keyboard shortcut I want to show you, it has to do with your tabs. Now I have 5 different tabs up here right now. And flipping between tabs, I can absolutely come up here and click on these different tabs. But I can also use a keyboard shortcut to toggle between those tabs. So if I hold down Control and hit, in this case, number 2, I'm going to move to my second tab. If I hit 1, I go back. And so this would be tab 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I can, using Control plus that number, just toggle between whichever tabs are open. That can really save you a lot of time if you get used to it. Now, that's not something that I do a lot, but it's nice to know that it's there, and it depends on your purpose. So I hope those help. Keyboard shortcuts can really save you a lot of time and really kind of make your workflow more efficient. If you have any questions, please let me know.